Hey guys, I just want to let you know before I start the spoiler video that I've got this new microphone, but in this spoiler talk, I didn't have it set up right, so the audio on my end of the conversation is terrible. It's bouncing all around the room. Please forgive me, I'll get it sorted out and the audio will be much, much better from this point on. So, sorry about that. If you can put up with it, then hopefully you'll enjoy the spoiler talk. Okay, here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our spoiler talk for Antman. And when I say our, I mean myself, and I've got Mitch from Mitch's Movies. Hey, Mitch.
Hello. Yeah, what do I say? Just, hello, hey? Yeah? Basically.
I'm also here, thanks.
Don't interrupt, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We also have public enemy number one.
That was literally the comment on that was literally the only comment I saw on the practical versus CGI video.
Yeah.
It's just like, why are you guys interrupting each other? It's fun.
It's ridiculous. It's just.
But we were both doing that. I was interrupting you as well. And people have me too.
We also forgot to lift out that wasn't even supposed to be what the video was. We were doing something completely different, and we got into that.
Yeah.
But now we are going to stay completely on track.
We're going to make an effort not to interrupt each other as well.
Now you guys are just going to roast each other with spoiler
I like
talk.
how you're saying, we're saying let's not interrupt each other as we're interrupting each other.
Well, Mitch could be the referee.
Jesus,
okay. Yeah, you're the no man's land. You're the middle ground.
Yeah. Basically, no one here will know my channel, so just sort of say, hey, I got a channel, Mitch's Movies. I make videos. Character breakdowns is like my main thing. It's basically just a rip on Comics Explained, to be honest, and Watch Mojo. But yeah, that's basically it. I do movie reviews, sort of like these guys here, but other than that, it's just the chill, the basic stuff.
I like how you said you make videos as if you can upload something else to YouTube.
Oh no, my brain was elsewhere. But yeah, Mitch, I was going to say, I might actually include your trailer for your Batman v Superman movie that you're making.
Yeah,
I'll include it at the end because that's really good.
Yeah,
it's like it's like what it should have been, but it's like fully animated.
Oh,
Mitch does every frame by hand.
Yes, someone
extremely time consuming.
Someone commented, they're like, did you get the animator for the belated media video? And I'm like, no, I've done it all myself, thanks. So I was like, oh, god damn it.
Apparently his last one will be out before the end of the year, which I'm looking forward to. I want to get mine out before the end of the year too, so
beat him to it.
Anyway, Ant-Man. Let's talk about Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. We've all seen it. Mitch, you're the biggest Ant-Man expert here, I think, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a character breakdown on it covering all three Ant-Men, but yeah, Hank Pym, Scott Lang, that's what we're talking about today.
Why? And there's the pervy one that likes to spy on women in showers. Don't forget that one.
Eric O'Grady. God damn him. He's like,
where was that scene? F, Marvel. You get an F. That movie sucked.
Yeah, there's no way that Hank Pym would not have done that, or Scott Lang would not have done that. Sure he would. Be like, I'm a fly on a wall. It was amazing. It was really great. I loved the movie. You guys liked it?
Yeah.
Really?
I liked it. I liked it. People have been saying it's the one of the best Marvel movies ever. I think it's one of the upper Marvel movies. I do think it's up there, but people are like, it's better than Winter Soldier. I'm like, it doesn't even come close to Winter Soldier. And then there are other people saying that it sucks, and I'm like, well, what movie were you watching? For me, it's like it's good it's not great, but it's not like, oh, I'm having a bad time here. It definitely was better than Age of Ultron. It didn't have those awkward pacing issues. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a good movie, just not as good as everyone has been saying it is.
Well, I kind of went in like a little bit negative about it, just because I was like, we've seen so many Marvel movies. I was kind of like, they're all going to be kind of the same at some point or another. Yeah. But I actually really kind of liked it because they took, again, you know how they're sort of subdividing each sort of franchise, like Captain America's is the spy
into
one,
its own genre.
Into its own genre, yeah. And this was the heist one, and I think that worked really well. And I didn't find myself getting irritated by the Marvel-y kind of humour, because all their humour is pretty similar. But some of it was a bit annoying, like his weird sidekicks. I was like, oh, come on again.
That was the best, Michael. Okay, because they were kind of saying that it was going to be really funny. And Paul Rudd, even though Paul Rudd's a really funny guy, he wasn't really that funny in the movie. It was all Michael Pena. He pretty much controlled the comedy of that movie.
Paul Rudd was the straight man in a lot of the comedy.
Yeah, man. Can I whistle? I'm gonna whistle. Can I whistle? And he's like, no whistling.
Yeah, and then he was whistling. It's a small world.
Yeah. So I asked them to ask me if they asked me that this means this, and you're like, what?
Yeah. I didn't understand any of the end. When Michael Pena was talking about Falcon, I was like, wait, who said what now? I got so confused. It was unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know if it was just...
I was like, is he trying to recruit him or not? But then there was the extra,
they're looking for a guy. They're looking for a guy that can shrink. That's why, because he's like, I'm looking for a guy that can shrink because I want him on my team, basically.
Didn't he say something about walling on crawl?
Yeah, there was the Spider-Man name drop, which had to be added in post-production. Because they're just like, we got a guy that can swing and crawl up walls. And magically...
Oh, man, I didn't even make that connect.
Yeah, magically, that line of dialogue didn't match up with what the lady was saying, even though everything else did. So it was completely added in post-production. But it was a cool name drop.
Yeah.
How packed was your theaters? Because ours wasn't, and I went opening night, the Thursday 6 o'clock screening, and
so you went before. You went to the preview thing.
Our movies, I don't know about you, Bandit, but in Perth in Australia, everything comes out on Thursday, no matter what. I don't know how it is in the US. You have proper release dates, but
yeah, we have that too. But it was supposed to be released Friday, but for some reason my theater shows it they have not day showings, but they have night showings the night before. So I have the same thing. But I saw opening day, which was Friday, I saw it in the morning. I saw it around no, it was completely pretty much empty because I saw it at 11 a.m.
Mine was
nobody
about half full.
Yeah, nowhere near Jurassic World.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No,
man.
Not even close.
Or Avengers Age of Ultron.
Avengers.
When I saw that was absolutely packed.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. I got there an hour and a half before, and there was 70 people lining up. Our cinema went outside the theater for Avengers, but
same. Except we were first in line.
I was expecting more people for Antman. I was a little surprised, to be honest. But
you know something that surprised me in the movie is obviously it's set after Age of Ultron because Michael Douglas has that bit where he's like the Avengers are probably dropping cities out of sky. Yeah. So it's after that. But Yellowjacket was going to sell the Yellowjacket to Hydra. So Hydra is still around.
Are you watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No.
Nobody's watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, I'm like that.
Get out now.
Yeah, they
I'm watching
Hydra
things that are
completely fractured in that. There is no Hydra anymore, except for Agent Ward. He started up a new Hydra at the end of season 2, but I won't even go into it.
I'm sure they're operating in remnants, kind of because I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched the first season and I'm like, this is garbage.
Jesus.
But I do know that post Winter Soldier, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. people had kind of been living underground or being an underground agency. So I think that's the state that Hydra's in now, where they have small cell groups.
Yeah.
But they're not as powerful as they used to be because the Avengers went around and pretty much blew up all their bases.
But I thought okay, you want a group of bad guys, but why Hydra? Why not just call them something else? Just call them it's the 10 Rings or it's the Hellfire Club or just pick someone else. Why does it have to be Hydra again?
Because people know Hydra, so they're
Yeah, I
like,
suppose
yay,
that's true.
Hydra. And plus, like, Hail Hydra has become a meme and stuff, so...
Yeah, I got a massive theory about Hydra leading into Phase 3, but I won't even go into that because I could spend hours talking about it, but it's to do with the Masters of Evil and everything, but Avengers fan fiction.
I would see
tell us
Hydra
that
more
later.
making researches
We'd like
in
to do
Phase
that.
4.
Huh?
Actually, no, I think Phase 4 might be a little bit more magic-based, but...
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because where do you go after Infinity Gauntlet?
Well,
Yeah.
I would have Masters of Evil in Phase 3, but that's because of Captain America Civil War. Like, you have, Daniel...
Well, we know the
Brühl-
endgame is Thanos, though.
Yeah. Like, Part 1, because you need a massive battle in Part 1. You can't just have it end with Thanos coming to Earth and no massive battle, so
Obviously.
I'd have, like, Abomination come back, because he's not dead. He never died in Incredible Hulk. I would have Baron Zemo, Enchantress maybe introduced in Thor 3 or something like that, and Baron Zemo, Abomination, Enchantress, and like I don't know, Crossbones or something. That could be our Masters of Evil. That could be the villains for Avengers 3.
You will have to reintroduce Abomination a little bit because pretty much nobody remembers the Incredible Hulk. That's why they got away with the whole like Hulk being in love with Black Widow thing, because nobody remembers Betty Ross, because nobody remembers that movie.
What the hell happened to her?
She just doesn't exist. She
She
doesn't
just disappeared,
exist.
yeah.
She doesn't exist.
Yeah,
That's why if you ever bring up Betty Ross at a Marvel press conference, some guys in suits just like grab you, put a bag over your head, just drag you around a corner. We don't talk about her anymore.
Speaking of people
we
disappearing,
don't talk about Fight Club.
I'm trying to segue here. Speaking of people disappearing, what the hell happened to Yellowjacket at the end? Like, did he go subatomic
crushed.
or something?
No, he got
or-
crushed. Like, you know how okay, wait.
He just vanished, and I was like, did he go subatomic, or did what did he do there?
His like body
yeah.
collapsed in on itself. It like was.
Well, you know how he had that gun? Well,
How
wait,
did that
hold on.
happen?
Did you miss the thing with the gun? Did they cut the gun thing from your version of the movie or something?
I'm not sure what part.
I don't know.
you're talking
I just saw like Antman go inside of his backpack and
No,
like, punch
I
it.
mean the gun that Yellowjacket uses earlier in the movie.
Oh, where he zaps the
Oh,
guy
shit.
and turns him into
Yeah,
Yeah,
goo.
the reason that it did that was because it was an unstable shrinking ray. So like that's why when he tries and shrinks the sheep and it doesn't work, it has the same effect of him using that gun. And so what I think happened was when Ant-Man went into his pack and damaged his pack, that put his suit on the fritz, so it wasn't working properly. So instead of him
so he just zapped
shrinking properly, it just crushed him, just like the goat.
I completely nerded out when we saw the microverse, or what was it called, the quantum realm, Pena
yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
it's called. The subatomic. Dude, that was cool. That was really cool.
In
Do you
in
reckon
Avengers,
the Wasp is still floating around in there?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
original
that was
Wasp?
so, that
I
was
would
so
love that.
weird. It's just like normal action movie. Then we get into like this trippy LSD shit.
That
And I'm like,
reminds me of
what
Doctor
is happening?
Strange.
But my
It reminds me
nerdiness
of Doctor
like that.
Strange, to be honest.
Yeah,
Reminds me of
exactly.
Doctor Strange
Yeah,
comic.
like the other dimensions, the weird,
Oh,
the weird stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
the,
I love
Into
all that.
Twilight
Like,
Zone.
I love that.
Aven-
Sorry to
go on.
interrupt.
In
Keep
Avengers,
going. Didn't mean to interrupt.
in the cartoon.
Sorry, go ahead. Keep talking.
God damn it, man! In Avengers season 2, episode 18, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, there's a Yellow
Oh, the
Jacket
cartoon.
episode. Yeah. There's a Yellow Jacket episode, and in that we see a prison developed inside the microverse, and Kevin Feige said we'd see more of the microverse in the future. Now, possibly, I would love to see a prison developed inside the microverse for all the villains in the MCU that we'll be getting in the future. I reckon that could be cool. I'm just
That could
throwing
be
that
like
out there.
the Phantom Zone for Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
And it
because,
also mean they don't have to keep killing all the bad guys.
exactly.
Yellowjacket's another guy dead. Stop killing all the bad guys. You
Well,
need-
actually,
yeah,
I don't even know. Did we see the goop? Did we see the goop on the floor? Because I know when he shrunk the executive guy, that's when we saw like the little goop because he had been completely
Michael
crushed. Did we see that? Was that the guy? Was that him?
No. That was the Hydra buyer. Sorry, that was the wrong guy.
Yeah. I'm talking about the guy who got crushed in the bathroom.
In the toilet. Yeah.
If we didn't see
that was
that
pretty
little
cool,
goop
actually.
thing.
Dude, it was so...
That was so messed up where he shoots him and then he just watches
Yellowjacket, then he could still be alive, because if we didn't see the goop, then he could just be in the microverse.
Oh, I told my mate, what the fuck?
How did, like, the entire building shrink at the end? Like, remember when their helicopter flying away and he says, it never was just a heist, and then the whole building just vanishes? How did that happen?
I don't
know.
I think it imploded on itself.
See, there's a lot of stuff like that I missed. I was like, maybe he released a lot of that, the Pym Particles, and it just shrunk the whole building. But I did you guys pick up how that happened?
I feel like there's gonna be a ton of angry people in the comments below, like, "This is how it happened, you idiot."
Yeah, but Marvel gets away with it. See, Terminator Genesis doesn't. Marvel can get away with that.
Terminator Genesis, when the entire thing that causes the main plot is your plot hole, that's a different story.
Like, guys,
temporal nexus. That explains everything.
What's the better Terminator? Practical or CGI?
I did like how they
Michael Douglas looked pretty good as a young guy. See, the wonders of CGI.
Practical.
Yeah, I know. I like how they used makeup instead of CGI to make Michael Douglas younger. I also like how they could have aged Peggy Carter with CG, but they didn't. They also used just makeup, practical. I really like that they went all out for practical, and a lot of the I also like that they used.
But anyway.
They did. It was makeup. It was makeup. Thank you.
Not for Michael Douglas. It wasn't. They CG'd his face to make him look younger, and it looked amazing.
Yeah, it was makeup. A ton of dots, though. Yeah, no, wasn't there like a IGN done an interview with Michael Douglas? Wasn't it a ton of dots? They were explaining the process. I think it was CG. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
We'll just say practical for argument's sake.
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah, Michael Douglas was great, though.
Yeah. What did you guys think of like Darren Cross as a villain?
I got to the theater late and I was trying to sit down. But I know that Peggy Carter, she was aged up with makeup, and I really like that. She didn't look too bad. Sometimes that can look really terrible, like in the end of the last Harry Potter movie when they try and make young people look old. It just looks gross. I also like that they used some practical for the shrinking. I like that they used macro photography in a lot of areas, so it didn't just look like a guy with big stuff around him, but it really looked like a small guy in normal size stuff. So I like that they didn't go full CG, and when they did do CG, it was stylized. It wasn't just cheap bullshit. So I'm gonna give this movie a plus.
Great.
What do you guys think of the villain, Darren Cross? Like, I thought it was a little rushed.
You know,
he's as shallow as every other Marvel villain, save for Kingpin.
I thought he was alright, but you know, I couldn't get because like he was in Non-Stop. That was like the Liam Neeson is the air marshal thing, and there's a scene in that where Yellowjacket and a bunch of other guys try to beat up Liam Neeson, and he takes on like 5 guys. And Yellowjacket like gets him in a headlock, and Liam Neeson like shoves his thumb into his nostril to like crank his head back. The guy's like, ah! And he pulls his head back. And then later on, he's like, sorry about the nose. And Yellowjacket's like, it was never my redeeming feature. You know, and he's got this big, like, all this blood coming out of his nose. So I just kept looking at Yellowjacket's nose.
Oh my god!
I thought he does have a big nose. Yeah.
See, I didn't get that because I didn't see Non-Stop because I'm a normal person. But yeah, no,
it was actually all right. It was okay. I mean,
yeah, just like Taken.
It was like Diet Taken. It was kind of fun.
I thought it was a little better than Malekith and Ronan. Like he was more developed than both of them.
Malekith.
He was more scary and more intimidating. Yeah,
he was definitely more developed than Ronan and Malekith put together, but there's like an emotional core that was just missing for me. He had the theme of the movie was like family, and he was a sort of student of Hank, and so we got that theme sort of carrying through his like mentor sort of personal arc, but I just didn't connect to him. I don't know why, but
Well, I mean, just all the Marvel villains have been sort of just like I said, except for Kingpin. None of them have really been super well fleshed out. Yeah. It's just like, here's what they want to do.
Is it because it's a movie?
Wait, for which one?
Except for Loki as well. He's like a fully formed character. But I think Yellowjacket was one of the better ones, though.
Loki's a little bit more fleshed out. He could use a little bit more. But I'm saying, like, he's just a guy and he wants to do stuff because reasons. And I guess they kind of explained it because they basically said, "Oh, the Pym particles are affecting your brain."
Yeah,
even though he was wearing a mask, so I was like, "You go crazy." They say you go crazy by shrinking without the mask, but he did wear the mask when he shrunk, and we never saw him shrink like ever before in the movie. So I was like, how did he go crazy?
Yeah, just
it's even with the mask.
Repeated exposure. Yeah, repeated exposure over time will cause you to go mad. That's what caused Hank Pym to beat up his wife in the comics, and eventually had to stop being Ant-Man, and he donned multiple identities. He formed Giant Man, Wasp, Yellowjacket, and all that.
Actually,
that's why he became Yellowjacket.
I heard about that whole thing. For those who don't know, there was a notorious part in Hank Pym, Michael Douglas's Ant-Man's past in the comics, where he backhands his wife across the face. But apparently, there was error. Because there was a disconnect, because they would write panels, but they wouldn't always give exact descriptions. So the artist would communicate it differently than was intended. And like it was written, it was supposed to be that like he's kind of like ranting and he's swinging his arms crazily, and then he accidentally whacks her in the face, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." But like the artist didn't read the notes properly, so he just has Hank Pym just go, "Shut up!" and like smack her across the face.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit more
he's always tried to live it down since then. Poor old Hank Pym.
That is a bit more powerful than him just If he accidentally does it, then it's like, well, then he doesn't really have somebody to apologize for.
That's a big thing to do to a character, you know. Yeah. You don't want to do that by accident. You want to actually plan it out a bit more.
A lot of the reason people thought that happened, like that they thought it was an actual slap, is because of the context of the story. Basically, at this moment in time, Hank Pym was kicked out of the Avengers, and to get the Avengers' trust back, he created a robot that would attack the Avengers, and only he would know its weak point.
Yeah.
Janet found out about this weak spot in the robot, and she found out that Hank was developing this robot, and he was like waving his hands around, obviously slapped her, and basically Hank everything went downhill for him then. Repeated exposure, Pym Particles just went crazy and crazier, turned into Yellowjacket, dual personality. Yeah, he's always kind of walked that line between also being a villain and a hero, hasn't he? Yeah, definitely.
I think
he transitioned more from a mainstay hero that hates violence to a complete anti-hero as Yellowjacket. He like developed a really crazy dual personality where he's just like, he's just mad.
Well, I think because they say because the script for Ant-Man was around like long before even the very first Iron Man movie, and like apparently they did take a lot of elements of that and work it into the first Iron Man movie, and I really feel like you can see that, like you know in Iron Man, like how Obadiah is like his mentor and then becomes the villain at the end. I wouldn't mind betting in like the early version of the Ant-Man script it was going to be, you know, Michael Douglas. Hank Pym becomes crazy Yellowjacket at the end. So I could definitely see the connects.
How do you feel it like connected to the MCU with like the inclusion of Falcon? Do you reckon it was like some things were a little heavy-handed, or?
I really liked that actually. I thought it was a good way to work in Falcon, and I didn't think it was too heavy-handed. Did you?
I think it worked well. Like nothing felt forced, but some things just like it fit well for the time that
it definitely wasn't subtle. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it's too heavy-handed, but it's right on the line. Like it's like, okay, you're pushing it. It's not quite there, but you're pushing it. But I did like that scene because it did show that Ant-Man could take on an Avenger, and it kind of like shows you like, oh no, look, Ant-Man is he can be useful. And I like that they didn't do it in the way that like DC does, where it's like you have a character like Aquaman, and he's like he wears tight spandex and he talks to fish, and then DC's like, no, this Aquaman's dark and he wears guy liner and he's musky and he's badass. and this one, and then in this one when you have Ant-Man, it's like, wow, that's a guy who shrinks down and talks to ants.
Yeah.
And then Marvel was just like, yep. That's how they handled it. There wasn't any of this.
But
we're gonna make him dark, and they just embraced it, and that I liked.
I don't think like in this movie, like in Ant-Man, the references to the other stuff. I don't think that was more like just references for the sake of references. I think it was more that this is a universe in which the Avengers, everybody knows who the Avengers are, and the world has been saved by them twice. So it's just part of the conversation that, of course there's Avengers. We all know that.
It just
and
feels
this
more
is
natural.
the first Marvel movie that has ever actually addressed the common problem of like, why don't we just get the Avengers to help? Because, every movie, everyone's like, just call the Hulk, or call such and such. And I love that Ant-Man actually says that. He's like, okay, let's just call the Avengers.
Yeah.
And they actually explain it. That's great. They finally addressed it.
Wasp. What do you guys think of Wasp at the end? End credit scenes. End credit scene number 1, Wasp.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Do you reckon she'll come in Civil War or Infinity War?
I don't think she's in Civil War because we pretty much know the whole cast for that. I don't know. I might be wrong. She might not be in it. I mean, she might be in it, but I think she isn't.
We're seeing Giant Man, yes or no, in Civil War? Or is that just rumor?
I hope we don't see Giant Man until maybe like the very end or a post-credits thing for Ant-Man 2, because then he's not Ant-Man anymore. Like, that's the thing. That should be
Giant Man, you mean when Ant-Man turns big? Like
King Kong
size? Or is he a different character, Giant Man?
No, it's
basically,
well, the mechanic's already there. He was turning all these other stuff big.
It
feels like he's already got the frisbee to turn things big. He could just use it on himself.
Yeah.
I actually thought that would happen.
He did turn himself bigger to get out of the subatomic whatever
I was
thing.
Freaking out. I thought he was gonna go like Giant Man. That's how he was gonna get out of. I was like,
I thought he burst through the roof of the house, but he
didn't.
They should save that for later because let it come naturally. It's like you just you pace yourself.
Yeah, because they'd already covered the microverse.
Yeah, if you do Giant Man, then like where else do you go? Besides, like, he just kind of tampered with his thing. So, I mean, he still has to, like, figure out how to make his suit do that. So, so maybe hint at it. Or say, like, oh, I'm working on this. Or, I wonder if I can make myself bigger. But we probably shouldn't see that at least until a sequel. And not until, like, the end or something. Because then I
think it's good that they spend more... I think it's good they spent more time in this focusing on, like, how he can work with the ants. Get that stuff straight and then bring in the Giant Man later. So I think it's good.
Yeah, where's the timeline for this movie? Because the end credit scene, the second one, they're like, no, don't call Stark. Has the Registration Act taken place, or?
Okay, well, here's the thing. I don't know. There's always seems to be some confusion about this, but every single thing that is Marvel, save for the TV shows, and by that I mean exclusively Agent Carter. Everything from Marvel is released in chronological order. Everything and people are like, what about Captain America? Well, I'm like, well, do you remember where Captain America ends? Chronological order. And it starts in the present anyway. So actually I don't even need to say remember where it ends. Chronological order. Everything released in the MCU, except for Agent Carter, the show, takes place in a chronological order. But the reason that it sounded like Registration had begun in that end credit scene is because that end credit scene is a lot like Captain America, is actually just a clip from Civil War. That's a clip from the actual movie. They're not just gonna like say, oh, by the way, we found Bucky in a different movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the thing where Nick Fury is talking to Cap in the gym. It's the exact same thing. It's just a clip ripped from the movie.
It does make me wonder though, like, do you reckon the issue about what's going to be done with Bucky is actually going to be the reason for Civil War, or are they actually going to bring in superhero registration?
I reckon Avengers 2, I think, will kick off the Registration Act. Like, they're like, you dropped a city.
I think it was more the Hulk fight. Like I keep saying, it's that Hulk fight. Like, even though technically it's not the Hulk's fault, nobody else knows that.
In Africa.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Josh Whedon really screwed over Civil War with that movie. He really messed up their plans, I reckon.
Well, Joss Whedon screwed up everything. That's why Marvel
they can't use Superhero Registration Act, because it's like, okay, you have to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. now. And it's like, let's form this thing of S.H.I.E.L.D. They already have. Everyone's already working for S.H.I.E.L.D., so you can't use that. And it's like, oh, reveal your identity. Everyone already has their identity. Yeah. Like, he should not have brought, like, Winter Soldier set up for Civil War perfectly. There's no regulation for superheroes. Avengers are an independent team. there's a reason there of why you go, okay, we need S.H.I.E.L.D. back, we need superhero
Yeah.
registration. Now he's brought it all back. There's no reason for it.
There's this really
that's the
you,
same
Josh
thing.
Whedon.
That's the same thing that we said. We said the same thing in our spoiler talk for Avengers, Age of Ultron, where we're saying like Joss Whedon he doesn't understand cinematic universe. He doesn't understand that he has a part to play and that he doesn't have full creative control, even if he's director. And directors usually should have full control over their movies.
Yeah.
When a movie is a piece of a puzzle, you don't get to say, well, what about this? Or how about this? You have to act like you're an actor. Like you can approach the scene in a different way. You can bring your own thing to it. But in the end of the day, you follow that script and you stay on course.
Wasn't
and
that
Joss
Edgar Wright's
Whedon
problem?
just didn't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright, wasn't that his problem? He wanted too much creative control, and it just didn't.
Well, no.
Ish.
I guess, yeah. But what happened was
that's
Edgar
the
Wright
thing,
had
it's
been
like-
working on the movie since, I think, 2005. And he had wanted he was working on it when he was doing Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and all that stuff.
Jesus.
And he had it before Iron Man was a thing. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So Marvel obviously is going to tie in Antman to the MCU. Why wouldn't they? And Edgar Wright's pissed off because he's like, well, I've been working on this for over half a decade.
That's
and now
gonna
this is all
suck,
about...
eh?
And now this is all about, like, Avengers and shit. I don't want this. So I don't blame Marvel, because if I was Marvel, I'd do the same thing. And if I was Edgar Wright, I'd do the same thing. So I don't think there's anyone who's doing something wrong. It's just, it's an unfortunate situation. That's all it was.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I thought, like, as I was leaving, like, as I was driving back from the movies, I was like, it's interesting because this whole concept of, like, a cinematic universe, like, we're in the era of cinematic universes, that's something really unique in, like, all of film history. Like, that's a completely different animal. Like, we've always had, film franchises and that, but this is a franchise made up of franchises.
I feel so
and
smug
it's all
just being
interwoven
alive
together.
right now.
Like, no one's ever done that before. It's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, Marvel was really innovative on that to the point where everyone wanted to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even saying DC, but just like, do we remember all those other, like, Star Wars is doing its thing with the anthology. That's almost a cinematic universe, except I don't really count it since it jumps around in time, and you have the whole separate episodes. But like, do you remember like the Dracula Untold cinematic? Remember how that was going to be a cinematic universe?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Come on.
Godzilla's going to have his own cinematic universe.
Ghostbusters will have a universe.
Oh, Ghostbusters. Don't even get me started on Ghostbusters. Remember when Sony thought that they could make a cinematic universe based around one character? I do.
Yeah, the Origins basement.
Yeah. It's like, that's not a cinematic universe if you're basing it around one guy. That's a film franchise.
Yeah,
Remember
that's right.
I'm still so amused they were going to make an Aunt May movie. That was the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. The Aunt May, she was a spy. What the
I actually feel really good being alive in the time that we are, because like 10 years later we'll be saying, hey, you kids, we got to grow up seeing this in cinemas and you didn't, ha 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 ha, and like laugh in their faces.
Yeah, but it's like in the old days it used to be all westerns. All the movies were westerns. Now it's all comic books.
Like, I hate not being alive in the time that Star Wars released. Like I hate not being alive in the time that the original Star Wars released. I wanted to see them in cinemas. I hate that my dad has seen them in cinemas and I haven't.
Yeah.
So I just feel really grateful that I get to be alive in the time that I am right now.
If you had seen the original Star Wars in cinemas, I think you would have been doubly devastated by the prequels. Like, that's why I'm glad I never saw them in theaters.
Yeah. I just developed critical thinking and realized
I count my blessings that when I saw the prequels, I was a kid and too stupid to understand how bad they are. Like, I just count my blessings. Because if I had actually been waiting for a Star Wars movie and got that piece of shit and, like, actually been smart enough to understand what a good movie was, I would have lost it. I would have gone insane.
I remember with Phantom Menace, like, I was a bit... Like, I can't remember my exact age, but, like, I was a kid, but I was still old enough where I was kind of, like, as the movie's watching, and I'm kind of, like, shifting in my seat, I'm like, there's something, it's just not right. You know?
I was 3 years old. I was 3 years old, so I was just like, Jar Jar stepped in poop. That's funny. Ha 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 ha. So luckily I didn't have to go through the same pain you did.
I would have been
Let me ask
1
you
years
guys.
old when that came out.
Oh, you're the baby.
Yeah,
Hey,
youngster.
I got another nitpick for you guys.
Ooh.
Like, I love the bit where Hank Pym has the tank on his keyring.
Yeah.
But how did they inflate that without crushing themselves in that small room?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, he could get an ant to crawl in and, like, maybe switch it on, but he must have built into that tank, like, the mechanics of the suit so the whole thing could just inflate.
What? No, he used the discs. What are you talking about?
Did he have those discs?
Yeah, he had the disc.
Really?
Yeah, they had the shrinky discs and the biggie, the wumbo discs.
Oh, okay, so he uses that to make it big, and then they get in it and drive through the wall.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But, like, they're in that small room. Like, how did that inflate without crushing them? You know?
Was it a small room? I don't remember.
Yeah, they're locked in this little vault.
To be fair, it's the size of a keychain. They could easily just move it to a bigger room and then inflate it.
But they were locked in that room.
Were they?
Yeah.
I'm thinking way too much about this.
Well,
I guess
it's
they
a
could have just put it
circular
on the other
room.
side of the room.
It's a circular room, and you got a square tank. You should be able to like move to a side.
Yeah,
where
or
it's
like in
not.
the doorway bit. And like,
Yeah,
yeah.
plus,
throw
if
the
that were
frisbee
really a
at it.
problem, I would just throw a shrinky thing at the door. Problem solved.
Yeah, exactly. If you got those, you don't even need a tank.
Throw it at the door,
It
the
was
door
cool
just
reveal
shrinks.
Yeah.
You're fine. Yeah, it was cool. That's why they did it, because it looked cool.
You know what was weird is like Scott Lang, his like team was really weirdly multi-ethnic.
Yeah.
It was like really diverse. It was like
Russian
guy.
white
Yeah,
guy,
Russian,
black guy,
Mexican.
Latino guy, and an international guy, Russian. I was like, wow, they've covered all of them. They just need a girl. And then Wasp comes along. I'm like, okay, now we've got everyone.
And you got an old man. You got Hank Pym. Yeah.
For criminals, they're very diverse.
Jesus. Yeah. True. Oh, what did you think of the action? Like, I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I liked it.
That was, yeah, something new for me.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Did you cry
Yeah,
when Anthony got shot?
Oh my god, I actually laughed. I thought it was so funny that they try
I
to
didn't
make it
care.
really dramatic.
I thought
I
it was
didn't
going to
care.
be more dramatic. Like, I knew Anthony was going to die. I'm like, as soon as
See
he
the
names
wing
him, I'm
drop?
like, well, he's dead. But I thought Yellowjacket would, like, snap its neck or something in front of him, and he'd be like, no!
When the wing
That would have been
dropped.
hilarious. I would have laughed my ass off if that happened.
Or, like, when he zaps
no.
him, he'll be like, that's for Anthony, you know?
The wing hit
yeah.
the floor. I broke out into laughter. That was
so-
the funniest bit of the movie for me, when his wing just slowly hit the floor, and it was,
Yeah, there was no reason.
Where,
for
yeah,
that.
it was, like, slowly going down. Like, in slow motion, yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was weird they tried to give Scott Lang, like, sort of the Robin Hood criminal background. Like the whole thing of, he was hacking into these con men and sent the money back to the people he stole. I'm like, don't really need that. I'm fine with him just being a criminal that now wants to change. Like, we don't need that whole...
Because it gives him a reason. It gives him a reason to act.
I
It's like a
know, but
redemption story.
It just
Yeah.
felt like a bit of a groaner for me. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah, in the comics, I believe he worked for Stark Industries, and what happened? He stole a prototype Antman suit, and Darren Cross. He was completely different in the comics. He was like a mutated monster. He stole Dr. Erica Sondheim, who was a doctor that was going to cure Cassie Lang, Scott's daughter's illness. So he stole the Ant-Man suit to.
Oh, that's why they did it. Because I
Yeah.
just realized if you don't make Scott like the good guy, he's basically just Sandman. He's basically just Sandman from
Oh my
Spider-Man
God.
3 with a shrink
Oh my God, yeah.
suit.
Oh,
So that's
yeah. Except the kid's
Jesus.
not sick, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
Scott
my
Lang
god! Wait, you
is
just gave me a horrible
Sandman.
thought. Remember the end of Spider-Man 3, where Sandman flies off into the distance so he can go see his daughter.
Yeah.
What if that
Oh,
movie
man.
continued and he got there and she was just dead?
That movie is so crap. I mean, it's like... oh.
Jeez.
And Sandman, he changes his mind every 10 minutes. He's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to save my daughter. And then he's like, now I'm going to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and he's there with
I really-
Venom
yeah, I
just punching
really
him.
like
and then
that.
5 minutes later, he's like, I'm really sorry, Spider-Man. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, you were just about to kill him.
I reckon
He was
they
being
could've,
strangled and you were
I like
punching
the
him
how
with a
it should
giant
have ended
hand.
thing, where it's just like, no, you don't understand. My daughter's sick. That makes it okay for me to break the law.
Oh,
Have you
man.
seen I think there's a YouTube video which is like, because like Breaking Bad, you know, the whole thing is based off that. Like, yeah, he's cancer and over, so it's like Breaking Bad, like in the UK, and he's like, oh, how am I going to afford this? They're like, don't worry about it, it's free public healthcare. He's like, oh, the end. It's like a 5-minute show.
That's
I think they missed.
There's a Mexican Breaking Bad. It's the exact same thing, but it's in Spanish with Spanish actors, and it's really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Metastasis.
Yeah,
it's a horrible show.
Metastasis. Yeah, because that's, I think, can't believe I know this, but I think that's the word for when cancer cells actually like spread.
Yeah, metastasizing. It's a complicated word.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I have to pause every time before I say it to make sure. Wait, no, got it. Yeah, no, I fucking just say cancer.
Hey, Mitch, let me ask you, because you know how there's a bit where like Scott Lang is talking to Hank Pym, and he's like, "Why don't you wear the suit?" And he's like, "I'd like to, but it's taken its toll on my body." And at the back of my head, I'm like, you know, I bet that using that suit is actually hurting Scott Lang's body. But he's just not telling him yet. That's a very Hank Pym thing to do. I reckon that's going to come.
I remember a panel a while ago. It was like in the 90s, but it weakened his bones after all, just going from big to small a lot. Yeah. But that was like one instance. I remember. I can never find that panel again, but that's the only time I've ever seen that. But it has taken a toll on Hank. But Hank, Janet, and Cassie Lang, she becomes Ant-Girl, or like something like that in the Young Avengers Crusade. But basically, them three are the only ones that can go from big to small without the use of Pym Particles. Like, they have used it so much to the point where they don't even need Pym Particles anymore. They can just do it on will. Their bodies
just produce them on their own.
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm groaning because that sounds so dumb.
Yeah, no shit. It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, it's so dumb.
Yeah, but she basically Scott Lang in the comics, he dies, and then I think Doctor Doom brings him back or something. I don't know. But in the Young Avengers Crusade, that was the story. Cassie Lang, she dies. It's cool because like Cassie's like, yeah, my dad's back from the dead. Oh wait, I'm dead now. So yeah, she died.
I think we'll definitely see the wife back too.
Janet.
Yeah, Janet, the wife.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it, because like even like in the picture where it's like Michael Douglas and her, they've got like the hat covering her face.
Yeah,
probably because they don't know what actor they're going to pick to play her. So
cast.
Yeah, they haven't cast an actress. That's why.
So if she comes out of like the microverse and time doesn't really exist in there, then she'd be like 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, she'd be a bit older.
And Michael Douglas is like, score!
Jesus. I reckon that would create some really cool drama though for Ant-Man 2, because like it'd be like I want to be with you, but we're completely different people now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: you have to be exposed to the Pym particles to shrink. So if she's been in there for like that long, what if she's just like super friggin' crazy when she comes out?
Shit.
She could be a villain or
She's
something.
been exposed for decades and decades and decades. Unending.
But time freezes there, so there wouldn't be any effect, wouldn't it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I reckon that could be even cooler.
It could either be like she's been
maybe
floating
they perceive
there for like thousands
maybe
of
they
years,
perceive
or...
time, to not have passed, but there's still time passing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's like the Nexus in Star Trek. It's like been thousands of years, but you think it's been like 5 minutes. Or something like that.
Yeah, time's still passing, but you don't get it.
It's like you're not affected by it, sort of.
Yeah, you're just Captain Kirk sitting on a farm, riding horses until you get crushed by a bridge,
saving whales or something like that. Doing his thing.
But now there's always a copy of Kirk saved in the Nexus, because apparently you're always an echo there or something. So
something or whatever. It doesn't matter. That movie was shit.
Wow.
Wow, that was a terrible movie. What a waste. I mean, they got all that effort to get Kirk, and he just punches Shinzon in the face.
Are we talking about Ant-Man?
Oh, yeah. So you guys reckon we definitely will see the wife again?
They've left
it's a
possibility.
possibility.
Yeah. I think it was very deliberate that they left it open and it was vague enough. And I actually kind of suspected maybe Scott Lang was
lying about something? Because
To me,
the
it
way
was
he's
like
like, I don't remember. I was like,
it was like the Incredible Hulk with the leader, where they make the leader at the end of the Incredible Hulk movie, where the blood drips in his head.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
right.
leave it open, but they won't actually go through with
Well,
it.
his was a little bit more open, where it's like you actually see him become a supervillain. Like, I like how he didn't end up doing anything. Like, could you imagine that somebody just gets superpowers and they're like, I can take over the world, but eh.
Dude, the leader has so much possibilities. Oh,
I like to think that the leader like is just doing nothing. Like he's just sitting around in
He's
his
just
basement
chilling
eating
there.
chips or whatever.
It's like
just playing
so
like Xbox.
unbelievably.
He's been playing Xbox the whole time.
Yeah, it's I remember. I can't remember, but wow, I can't believe I just said that. And Hulk, he's like, oh yeah, leader's like, I could destroy you in 1,000 possible ways, and Hulk's like, yeah, whatever, and like slaps him on the head and like pops his head open. It was, I found it really hilarious. But like the leader, he's so smart that it gets to the point where he's dumb. Sorry, swearing, but
It's
so
okay.
dumb.
He can bleep it out.
Yeah, I just hang on. I need to know.
He just has to-
45 minutes,
go
57 seconds. I gotta remember.
Okay,
that now.
yeah, you have to put in a lot of effort to bleep out swear words, right?
Yeah, well, now I have to go back through and find that exact spot. Gee,
Oh, okay.
thanks,
I'm just making
Mitch.
sure that you have to put effort into it.
Shut up! Damn it, man.
What do we do with
Have
this?
fun with
I
that.
did that with Milan. He had
Put him
like,
in the trash.
he swore like
Wasn't it a
47
swear bit?
times in like 50 minutes or something. They
Is
had
that
to
a
go
swear
through
bit?
and bleep out every one. It took forever.
Oh, see, well, me, I just did it at once, so you don't have to stretch it out and like listen for the entire thing.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
Christ.
my nephew listens to this. You know, he's like,
Oh.
It's a good
like
thing
all
to
my
leave it out.
family listen to my videos. So that's why I try to keep it clean.
Oh, you show your videos to your family?
No, it's just they like I've got a lot of like nieces and nephews, and yeah, they all watch it. So
Oh, okay.
even though I'm not an idiot, I know they go to school. I know they're going to hear swearing, but I just want to do my bit. Be a good
Yeah.
uncle.
Yeah, good on you. Jesus.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't show
such a-
my videos to anyone, so
I've
I
dropped my.
I do whatever I want.
I've dropped my nephew like 3 times. Like, yeah, I'm a bad uncle. I dropped him down the stairs once, but I caught him.
Oh, wow, you are a bad uncle.
Yeah, I'm pretty horrible.
Yeah, you were dangling him out a window like Michael Jackson.
Holy shit! Too soon.
I think it's been like 5 years. No, it's been 6 years. I think I think it's not. I think it's pretty good. That was not words. I clipped it. Those were not words.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
So what were you saying before we went off on this rant? I can't remember.
Wasp. Something?
we
Janet.
we show videos. Or Janet, yeah. Will we see Janet again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah.
Maybe.
I really hope they update that Wasp suit though, because I know
If
that
it-
it hadn't been
Oh,
updated
yeah.
since the '60s. But if that's how a Wasp actually looks,
I don't like the helmet for Wasp.
No,
I mean-
I don't either.
Yeah.
Well, it's not finished though, because didn't he? Didn't
Oh,
he say
yeah,
Yeah,
something
because it's
completed?
from the '60s. It's a prototype from the '60s, so obviously it wouldn't be ready yet.
Yeah, I actually like the actress who played his daughter. I was like,
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline Lilly. Yeah, I think she did a really good job because, like, in the start where she's kind of a cow and you're supposed to hate her, I really hated her. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I really don't like this chick. But then she switches and I'm like, oh, okay, good. So I hated her at the moments I was supposed to hate her.
The
Yeah.
I
amount,
liked
the
her
amount
at
of
the moments I
screen
was supposed to
time,
like her.
the amount of screen time she had really surprised me because, like, she was cast right before Comic-Con last year. Like, she was cast literally the day before 2014 Comic-Con San Diego. So, like, she's only been doing this for, like, half a year production. Like, I don't know how long production takes, but if this movie's
a lot
been in
shorter
for
than a year.
yeah, like, this movie's been in production for so long, and, like, she was in
Well,
a
the
majority-
actual production, like actual filming, is a matter of weeks, like like 5, 10, sometimes 15 weeks. It's the pre-production and post-production that are the longest parts of the movie.
Yeah, because all the editing and stuff, yeah, true.
Yeah, you gotta edit, you gotta make a rough cut, then you gotta make an upcut, then you gotta get a score, you gotta get like a placement score, then you gotta get an
All the
actual guy to
VFX.
score around it, and you gotta make a final Final Cut and all this.
Jesus, man.
It's a load of work.
You should go make your own movie. You do much better than...
Give me a couple $1 million and I probably would.
Do that. Oh, man. Yeah, cool.
Let's see, what else was there? Let's talk about what we didn't like.
Say about it. I kind of covered all.
Let's talk about what we didn't like the biggest things.
Oh, pacing. I think it started off a little slow. The villain, I thought it was a bit meh, but yeah, I thought it started off a little slow. But other than that, I reckon it was like pretty cool.
A few pacing problems where I noticed like they jump back from this corporate thing. And then you go back to, like, Scott Lang and his daughter's birthday, and it's a little bit jarring. Yeah. It's almost like I would have kept Scott Lang set up, and then go to the corporate guy, and then finish up with Scott Lang set up. I wouldn't have jumped back and forth.
Do you think it's a matter of just story, or was it studio interference with the whole paint and read?
I just think it was just edit. It was all. I mean, that wasn't story. It was literally just editing decisions. You can fix that all in editing by placing those scenes in a different order.
True.
So that was just editing. I did notice some screenwriting problems because it wasn't written by professional screenwriters. Like, Paul Rudd had a hand in the movie, and he's not a screenwriter. Like, I did notice some heavy-handed story stuff where I'm like, I could have fixed that, or I could have done that a little bit better, where it was like, and I'm not just saying that because of my own ego, even though my ego is huge, but I did notice that there were some problems where, like, Scott is tinkering with what the fuck is tinkering? Tinkering with his suit.
Tinkering with the suit. There we go.
And then Michael Douglas is like, don't do that or you'll go all Jimmy Neutron, subatomic, whatever. Okay. And then Scott's like, why would I want to do that? What? Yeah. And he's like, why would I want to do that? And he's like, because you'll cease to exist in all time or whatever. Blah 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 blah
Scott
blah.
Lang, boy genius.
Yeah. And then that's set up, and then you go to him training again, and then they're like, well, I wonder when that's going to pay off, and it usually something like that, you set it up, and then it pays off towards the end of the movie, except this one pays off like 4 minutes later, where he's like, okay, now let me explain what happened to your mom, and then that's a whole thing, and then that goes away. And then
and
it comes back at the end
I guess
of
the
movie.
mom didn't have any of those frisbee things that make it grow bigger.
But I'm
if
saying,
she had one of them, it would have been a lot easier. She could have come back.
Wait. Story-wise, it would have made more sense to set it up once and pay it off once. And how they should have done it was Scott's like, hey, why can't I do this? And he's like, well, you'll cease to exist in a realm where time and space means anything, blah 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 blah. And he's like, well, can't we fix that? Isn't there a way to undo? And it'll be like, no. And they talk about it, and then Michael Douglas tells him the story of what happens to his wife. Hope, the character Hope, his daughter, would overhear that conversation, and they deal with it right then and there, instead of bringing it up, dropping it, and then bringing it back up again literally like 4 minutes later in the movie. They should have just dealt with it at once, have her overhear the conversation, it's set up, then move on.
Do you think it
and
was
then
like,
it pays off at the end of the movie?
I think they did that because it wasn't just to explain what happened with the mum, it was also to set up how he's going to get out of it at the end.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
I didn't mind them
came
bringing it
up
up
3
all at
times.
once.
That's the thing. It was they introduced it. It came up again 4 minutes later. That was awkward. They should have just dealt with it.
That's the difficult thing though with movies is because often like the filmmakers don't know how many times they need to repeat something before an audience sticks. Like I remember in Terminator 2, there was like a couple of extra deleted scenes of the T-1000 where they wanted to show that he can like scan his hands over things. And there's like a whole deleted scene where he's in John Connor's bedroom and he's just sort of like brushing his hands across the bed and all this stuff trying to pick up. And it was weird. And then they're like, you know what, we really don't need that.
I haven't seen that scene at all.
It's pretty creepy, actually.
Yeah, but it wasn't even a matter of explaining things because I don't think it was poorly explained the first time. It's just that it shouldn't have been brought up, dropped, then brought up again so suddenly. So
I felt like it was a bit like a TV episode, like Game of Thrones. It like cuts between different storylines. Like,
don't get me started on Game of Thrones. That season has got major problems. But anyway,
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
It's a lot better than Terminator Genesis. Game of Thrones. I'm not feeling it, but Terminator Genesis is great. BanditIncorporated 2015.
Oh my god!
You just wait and see. Terminator Genesis that'll be redeemed over time. I guarantee.
I bet. Yeah, I bet that
Sure.
20% Rotten Tomato score will somehow fix itself by the time the film leaves theaters.
That's not 20%. Give me a break.
It's in
That's
its
ridiculous.
20s. It was pretty bad.
The only thing I didn't really like in Ant-Man was like I wanted him to do his move where like he shrinks down, crawls in someone's ear, and then turns big.
Oh no,
And, like,
that's
explodes their head. That's what I want to see.
You're not gonna do that.
Yeah, do that as a kid's
I
movie.
know that would happen if it was an Edgar Wright. If it was an Edgar Wright movie, you bet your ass that would happen.
They will do that with Hulk. Like
Be
Ant-Man's
like, I'm going
one
to
of
hide
the-
in your sandwich, and when you're halfway through swallowing, I'm going to turn big. Just
And
explode.
I swear, I bet you guys $10, that Ant-Man will jump in Hulk's ear and like punch his ear or something in like a future
Okay,
Marvel.
are we talking about 10 American dollars or your Aussie Australian
I don't
dollar
know.
dues?
10 Aussie dollars because that's only like $7.
$10,000 dues.
Hey, Mitch, by the way, I don't know if you monetize, Mitch, but you should because you
I
get
can't.
paid.
I'm not old enough to. It's illegal.
Okay. Well, when you can, it's good because you get paid, but you get paid in like American dollars. So the exchange rate, you get more.
So you get more,
when it comes
yeah.
over. It's really good. It's like
Ooh.
25% more when it gets sent over.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Ant-Man hitting Hulk up.
Yeah,
Wow, that sounds
punching his
sounds
eardrum.
much more dirtier. Ant-Man hitting Hulk up. Ugh, Jesus.
Blowing up his
What you doing
phone.
now? You come back to my house?
You're like, do a Terminator 2 and like touch him in his room or something. Yeah. Jesus.
Other than that, I didn't
but
have a lot of problems.
I hope Hulk is in space. I really want Hulk to be in space. Please put him in space. I don't want him on the Earth again.
Return.
Boring.
In Avengers 3 Part 1, I would have the Masters of Evil be the villains, and then have Hulk make a triumphant return. Say Abomination's like wrecking the new Avengers. He'd
Well,
like
you're gonna
take
have Hulk in Avengers. Well, he's in space. The perfect thing would be to do Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Have Hulk show up.
and like have Hulk and Guardians.
But Infinity
come to-
Wars is, it's going to be all that space stuff, so he can still be in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have
sorry, go on,
Infinity War. Infinity War would have two main stories. The A story be Thanos going to Xandar and then nowhere to collect the Power Gem and the Reality Gem. And here he would fight both the Nova Corps, who have used the Power Gem to create the Nova suits we know from the comics. And then when he goes to Xandar with the Power Gem, he would wreck Nowhere and like cut that skull in half and defeat the Collector. And maybe we could have Champion, one of the Collector's friends, battle Thanos. He could like wreck him. And then maybe attack Asgard, and that's where that's where Thor, who is now King of Asgard, has beaten Loki. Uses the Tesseract to,
and that's how the Avengers would get involved.
Yeah, exactly. He would.
Let me ask you though. Let me ask both you guys. Why is it like DC villains, even in the crap movies, the villains are always good? Why is it that Marvel villains
Not
intimidating?
even in the crap movies. I remember Batman and Robin pretty well.
But like, what could they do to Thanos to actually make him intimidating? Because I was thinking about this.
It's an emotional core because like a lot of Batman villains, they're just normal motives like Harvey Dent, but they're just twisted. Something happened to them that's made them like go evil. So there's a level of like understanding with Batman villains. With Superman villains, they're a lot like Marvel villains. There's not much connection. Brainiac is interesting, but there's no emotional core to him, like because he's a robot. But
Because it's a robot, yeah.
yeah.
Also, a good way to
Doomsday,
make a
etc.
villain more intimidating would to make him attack a hero personally,
Yes.
rather than just be like, I want to blow up the world because the world, whatever.
I think
It's like, I don't
that's
care
what
about
it comes
the world. I
down
don't know
to.
the world.
Like, that's the problem with Marvel is a lot of the time it's a universe with no consequences. Like, because everything works, even in like Winter Soldier, where it's kind of a bittersweet ending, everything kind of works out okay. You know, you need a villain that can do like
Well, it did
do
after
like
Age
Man
of
of Steel
Ultron.
level destruction, where they're actually
Baron's-
killing tons of people.
Yeah, just not like it is in Man of Steel because Man of Steel. But
Yeah. But like, if
but,
Thanos
like, that's why I
was
think the
punching
Joker,
buildings down, then
the
that'd be
Joker's
fine.
so great because he's always attacking Batman
Jason.
personally rather than just
Jason.
like. I mean, he also wants to like blow up Gotham and all that stuff and whatever. But I'm saying he's always attacked Batman very personally, and all the stories that stick. It's never like, hey, remember that time where Joker had a bomb? It's like, remember that time where Joker killed Robin? Remember that time where Joker paralyzed Barbara Gordon? Remember that time where Joker turned Tim Drake into a mini Joker in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker? It's always the personal stuff that sticks.
Remember the time when Thanos was sitting in a chair and he was going to get up, but then he didn't? Amazing.
No, with Marvel, it's like, remember when Jeff Bridges wanted to take over the world? Remember when Sam Rockwell wanted to take over the world? Remember when Ronan wanted to take over the world?
Wow. I think that's where there's like massive potential for Daniel Bruhl as Baron Zemo, because he has a really extensive personal history with Captain America, and if by the end of Civil War, if he assembles the Masters of Evil, Abomination, like Crossbones and all them, most of them are in the movies, sort of, so there's potential for that while the Iron Man Captain America crisis is going on. But Baron Zemo has the potential to be one of the best Marvel villains. That's if the writers, whoever's writing Civil War, can do a good job with him. But he's such a cool villain. He's like crazy swords, and he's just awesome. But I really hope Civil War does good with him.
I also want them to see. I also want them to use Regent, because that's a really cool guy, and I don't know. I'm not familiar with him. I don't know if he's in the main Marvel universe, but he's in the new Spider-Man Renew Your Vows series, where it's an alternate universe where Spider-Man didn't sell his marriage to Satan for reasons.
One more day. We never speak of it.
And he's still with Mary Jane, and he still has a daughter, and in this universe, a new villain called Regent has come from nowhere, and he absorbs all the powers of every superhero that he comes in contact with. So in that universe, like, Spider-Man's living in a totalitarian state, and he can't use his powers. He's just Peter Parker. He doesn't save anyone anymore, because basically, if you have superpowers, Regent will round you up, capture you, and use you to fill up his like power bank, unless you're a villain, in which case you're kind of like this evil Gestapo. And like, I know that's a very vanilla thing to do. It's like, this guy has all the things. But if you don't know who Regent is, Google Regent, like Google him on Google Images. He looks so fucking cool. So cool. I really need to see
1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds. Gotta write that one down too. Thanks, man.
I forgot.
Now that's 2 bits I have to listen to the whole thing and try to find.
I'm sure there was some before. Oh,
great. I have to listen to all of it.
God damn it.
I know. I have to actually check my stuff before I publish it.
What do we do with swear words? We put them in the trash.
You have a spare jar.
You know,
spare jar.
What? I know this has like nothing to do with Marvel at all, but I thought on one of my videos, this guy left this comment where I think it was for the Batman v Superman trailer, where he didn't like Gal Gadot's look as Wonder Woman, and he goes, she looks like a malnourished teenage girl in a Halloween costume.
Oh my god!
She's not that skinny.
I've used that insult a couple times. I went up to this girl that I hated at school, and I was like, "You look like a malnourished, uncultured swine."
Malnourished?
Yeah. Get out of my Get out of my face. And I just like ripped this girl to shreds. I love that guy. Whoever commented that, get him in touch with me. I want to give him a handshake.
I hope you didn't call her malnourished, because then you just looked like an idiot. Malnourished.
No, sorry, my grandma's I'm tired. It's still the morning.
All right, well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to say 2 things. The cop guy, the new husband.
Oh, I hated that.
He was completely pointless.
Yeah, get rid of him. We don't need him.
And also, I like how in the end they're just like, oh, I just cleared it up. I said you were processed correctly, and everyone believed me, even though I was leading the manhunt for you 2 days ago. Nobody cares now. Yeah. That's how police work works. Another thing that I thought was weird was the business meeting. Before it was revealed that the guys were Hydra, and Darren Cross was just like doing his normal meeting, and he's advertising the Yellowjacket suit, and it's like, here's all the stuff you can use it for, like breaking into people's shit and assassinations. And it's like, it's so odd, because it's like, it's kind of like if Smith & Wesson advertised their products by showing 3D demos of murdering people. Like, it just surprised me that he's in a legit business meeting and he's showing all these 3D demos of completely illegal stuff. But whatever, that's just me.
Yeah, my overall thoughts on the movie. Yeah, it was alright. Fun, entertaining. I'd put it like there's like Avengers, like Captain America, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy.
So you put Avengers over Winter Soldier, huh?
Yeah, I just think it has like an impeccable structure, so I just adore Avengers. But like point being, Ant-Man, fun time. Villains a little weak, a little slow at the start.
Yeah, but they always are. The villains are always weak, so
it's I did like how this movie got stronger as the movie went on. Usually, a lot of Marvel movies, Iron Man 1 has a weaker third act, so this was cool to see it get stronger and stronger as it goes along. But yeah, I really enjoyed Ant-Man.
Yeah, I'd say not the best, not the worst, but it's definitely one of the upper Marvel movies. I wouldn't put it above the Winter Soldier like a lot of people are doing, but it's good. Go see it.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and I think it was good that they did a good enough job of making Ant-Man his own unique character enough that you don't think, oh, he's just discount Tony Stark or he's discount Falcon or whatever.
Doctor Strange is going to be hard to do because he's exactly like Tony Stark. He has the goatee, he's a douchebag,
he's the same
and
personality.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's literally Tony Stark if he was a surgeon and learned magic.
But hey,
Yes,
they
that's
have
him.
like the best actor for him. I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I know you were so happy about it.
Jesus.
Okay, everyone. Well, thanks for listening. And if you want to check out Mitch's channel or Clumsy Toaster's channel, click on either of the links on the screen. And I'm going to leave you with the trailer for Mitch's fanfiction.
Yeah, and we'll see you back when we do Fantastic Four.
No, Jesus. Oh, I'm
Yay.
doing...
Who's excited for
I don't want to
Fantastic
see it.
Four?
Oh, I'm
Do we
not
have to
excited
do
for
that? I really don't
We have
want
to do it. We have
I'm
to.
not
There's
excited
no
for that.
way.
We
We don't have to like it.
right now.
We have to eat it. We don't have to like it. Just like our
on
restaurant.
on my channel right now, I'm doing a character breakdown for Fantastic Four, which I'm working on right now. If you guys didn't know that Sue Storm can explode heads and chest cavities, and she has done that, and Johnny Storm can blow up a small country with his Nova Flame, then check that video out because, yeah, the Fantastic Four are insanely strong. Not many people know about it, but yeah, you can go check out the channel and selfless plug.
Yeah.
Shame.
Totally.